Inspire, motivate, challenge.
Hey, Mr. Victor. Mr. Victor Erukunuakpor. Did I get that right?
Excellent, excellent. 95%. It's actually Erukunuakpor.
Erukunuakpor.
Excellent.
All right, thank you. So, thank you very much for doing this. You are the maiden guest on Healthcare Soldiers YouTube channel.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Makes me feel very special.
Yeah, it's a special occasion indeed. So I'm going to go, straight into the interview. I'd just like you to tell us about yourself briefly.
Okay, my name is Victor Erukunuakpor. I'm a pharmacist. But I think let me start first of all by thanking you, Mayowa, for the privilege in coming here to really, so that we can talk about this very noble topic. Let me also salute your sense of initiative, and the ingenuity in bringing up this project. So I wish you all the best, and I wish you plenty of successes.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
So, what inspired this, very briefly, is the fact that I feel like I've worked with a lot of people who have a lot of knowledge.
Absolutely.
And I just feel like there's so much knowledge that can be shared that many people can benefit from. And I just want to give other people the privilege to listen to people that I've had relationship with in the past, and so that they can also help them probably hopefully make some career decisions or influence some decisions for them in the future.
That's amazing, and I'm very confident and very upbeat that the goals will be achieved. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. So I'd just like you to tell us about yourself and what you currently do.
Okay, so my name is Victor Erukunuakpor. I'm a pharmacist, and as you know, like you earlier alluded to, the reason why you know me is because of we had a stint in GSK. So I started in GSK in 1994, 23 years ago, where I started as typical medical representative, jumping from one clinic to the other, passing on information to medical doctors, pharmacists, and all other healthcare professionals, so that to help them improve the healthcare delivery landscape, particularly the primary healthcare delivery landscape. So I was on the field for about 10 years. From there, I became a training manager and was responsible for training and development of the commercial team, from sales to marketing. From training manager, I was very privileged to have a 3-month stint in Côte d'Ivoire, where I ran a selling skills program in across the countries in Côte d'Ivoire. Then you had about 26 countries in the French West African region. From there, on coming back, before I knew it, I was moved on to Belgium for 1 year. I worked in the vaccines headquarters as it was called brand manager for malaria, TB, and HIV. Now, if you say malaria, TB, it wasn't about finished brands, but brands in the pipeline. So I worked with researchers and clinical trialists. And there, what we're doing was just to commercialize research, to give research meaning. So what we did was to do market need analysis, feed it back to the scientists, so that the scientists will ensure that the final molecule that comes out is such that we meet market need. And so once it meets market need, then of course it becomes commercially viable. So that's what I did in Belgium. There's a place called, the head office there was in Erukunuakpor, while I lived in Brussels. So coming back, I became head of business development for the whole of West Africa, French and Anglophone. And things that stood very strong there was the launch of the first cervical cancer vaccine, Cervarix, in Nigeria and other West African countries, both French and Anglophone. From there, I went on to become the vaccines director and rose to be executive director in GSK before, leaving to set up what I'm doing now. So I'm doing Gratuity. It's a company I set up, and Gratuity is a consulting an advocacy company. When we look at advocacy, we're looking areas of health, particularly preventive health, and also area about building businesses, enabling businesses, you know. And so we do training. We are into vaccines awareness. We run around tables for business owners so that we can think out through things businesses can do to really thrive, particularly in this very, very challenging economy. You know, we have a top-notch learning center where we run trainings. Most of our consulting trainings we do there. And the training center is actually named after my wife's network marketing team called the Diamond Lifestyle Team. There she primarily uses to train a team of over 100 team members. You know, so one of the reasons why I also left GSK was also to support that business, which has been on for almost 20 years now. So while I was in GSK for 23 years, she was also running the network marketing business for about 20 years. Lastly, I'm excited to say that we're about signing a deal with a Canadian IT company to launch our e-learning program. You know, so you can go on that on our website. You see under home, you click e-learning programs, and there you can do various courses on professional business skills, project management, and what have you, and get certified internationally. So that's where we are so far, and you know, it's been very exciting. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We'll definitely put the name of the website so that the audience will be able to see.
That would be great. I'll be glad.
All right, thank you, sir. So I mean, it's very, even with everything you've said, you've been very modest. And one of the reasons why I'm very interested to talk to you today is because you are definitely a vaccines expert. You were, just as you said, you are the director of vaccines for the biggest vaccine company in Nigeria and one of the leading vaccines manufacturers in the world, which is GSK. And I'm very particularly interested in your experience in that industry because there's a lot of controversy about vaccines. What are your thoughts about some of these controversies?
Okay, thank you. I would have wanted you to be specific about the controversies so that I can
narrow down to one in particular.
Okay.
There's a controversy around, you know, the MMR vaccine specifically, and it's linked to autism in children. And you know, apart from that, so there's a general sense there are some population that feel like all vaccines are unsafe. But I mean, we can focus on the MMR controversy. It would be nice to hear your thoughts on that.
Thank you, Mayowa. Before I even speak on that, I'd just like to just state that next to clean drinking water, vaccines are second to, next to clean drinking water, there's no better health intervention compared to vaccines. So vaccines are second after clean drinking water in terms of breakthrough in terms of health intervention. Now, talking specifically about the autism and the MMR vaccine, there are instances, no doubt, where patients, babies have had autism after being administered the MMR vaccines. But there has been no clear-cut confirmatory studies that have really come out to really prove that the vaccine, the MMR vaccines, are actually linked to the use of, linked to the incidence of autism in children. You know, there have been no, everything has still been based on speculation. There have been no clear-cut, you know, because it's just coincidental that the ages where MMR occurs is around the age where the schedule when vaccine is taken. For you to clearly come and to say that the MMR vaccine causes autism, you need to first of all take two groups, the non-MMR vaccine group, do a clear-cut study, and compare with the groups that have taken MMR. If there's a significant difference before you can clearly say that MMR causes autism. So as to the best of my knowledge, there's yet to be any clear-cut study to really show that MMR causes autism. Now, and I agree, there have been other controversies around vaccine, basically on safety. Some incidents were based on the fact that there were factory faults, which is not as a result of the vaccines, but in a result of maybe a fault, a defect in production, which were corrected, right? So you can't say basically that it's that MMR causes autism. Now let's flip it. If you say vaccines are not safe, can we imagine a world without vaccines? Today we can boast that smallpox is extinct. It's a dinosaur. It's like a dinosaur. Polio is virtually out of the world. And just to mention a few other diseases because of vaccines. So imagine, let's go 30 years back and say, and we never had these vaccines in. Imagine a world with polio. Imagine the number of children that would have come out with the debilitating effect of polio, smallpox, So let's flip it. If you say vaccines are not safe, how about a world without vaccines? So I still tell you that they are. Take, for example, 3 years, in 2014, pneumococcal conjugate vaccines were launched into the EPI, Nigeria's expanded program on immunization. So if you look at pneumonia in children, deaths in under 5s, 50% of deaths in under 5s is as a result of the hip disease, Haemophilus influenza type B pneumonia, and pneumonia as a result of pneumococcal diseases. So 50%. So if you say 10 babies die before they are 10, before they are 5 of those babies as a result of this. Now Nigeria has HIB in its EPI. There's pneumococcal conjugate vaccine in its EPI. So you can imagine the number of deaths that have been averted. Need I also say here that if you look at our life expectancy, the huge chunk of the life expectancy is as a result of the very high infant mortality rate in Nigeria. And one of the ways you can actually improve on that life expectancy is by reducing those infant mortality rates. And how can you do that? By introducing vaccines that are targeted at preventing diseases that are very important, particularly in causing mortality in children. So I can tell you without fear or favor that vaccines are very relevant, very impactful, and well tolerated.